I am in the car on my way to Abilene for my next traction appointment for my back. And I just thought I would come and say hello. I'm going to hold the phone for just a moment. I'm on my dirt road. I can flip it around. I don't know that y'all will see much. Yep, see, on the dirt road. Not much to see at the moment. It wants to focus on the arm that's holding my phone. So anyway, good morning. Thank you, Victoria. I will not be looking at the chat much. Not much. Mr. Fiber does not even like it when I do these lives. It's like so anyway, if I do see a question come up, that will help me to have something to talk about. So if y'all have a question, put it in there, and then I will do my best to talk about it. So we're going to do this like a little bit of a Q&A. Oh, I'm trying to get to the other end of the road. It's so bumpy. Y'all know how dirt roads are out in the country. Okay, here we are. We're at the stop sign. Hello, Roseanne. I think that's Roseanne. Yeah. Good morning to you. Okay, we are turning left onto the highway. Hopefully it will be a little less bumpy for y'all. Oh, I'm very eclectic with everything I do, Victoria. I will say that I do kind of have some sweet spots when it comes to yarn. So one of my sweet spots is using a very soft merino mix of any kind. So I like blends. Now, I am running the air conditioner. You're not right in front of the vent, so hopefully it's not too loud for you. I like any kind of a blend done with merino. So superwash merino, I would say, and then it's blended with acrylic. I love a merino acrylic blend. I tend to like more DK weight than anything else. DK weight is kind of one of my sweet spots. I also like, when I knit, I like to knit with a 10 to 10.5 needle and anywhere from a 3 to 4 weight. And for crocheting, I like projects that are in that same wavelength. So like I somewhere in there, as far as a project with a hook. I like the J to I. I like an open weave. I don't like it terribly heavy. It's not my favorite thing, and that tends to hurt my hands a little bit. Like I'm doing Mr. Fiber's hat right now, which is a 2x2 rib, and I'm holding 2 yards together, and I love the way it looks. But it is harder on my hands. So, now I don't know if we have any moderators in here yet, so everybody needs to try to behave themselves. If I catch something, I will try to remedy it, but if not, then we're just going to kind of have to go with the flow. Since I'm not at home, I don't have the ability to go in and put the subscriber only on. So there's that. And it looks like it's going to take a little while for everybody to get in here anyway, so I don't know what my reception will be like. There's a couple of spots on my trip. Mr. Fiber says, be safe today. I will. There's a couple of areas on my trip that if I, might be like not the best reception. So we'll see how it goes. Good morning, Angela. Again, I'm not going to really be reading the chat much, but if you have a question, we're going to do this like a Q&A, and then I can answer questions while I'm driving. Thank you very much, Victoria. Okay, we're at the only four-way with a red light at the Allsops. I may try to go. There is a new to me that I didn't even know existed yarn store in Abilene, and we may try to go today. I may try to go today. I didn't even know they were there, and I'm really going to have to. They're at a convenient place for Mr. Fiber and I, because quite often we go to the record store and they're behind the record store, supposedly. So let's see if I can find them. Right, I need some cooler air. I don't know what's up with that, why it's not getting cool. What? Okay. I don't want that. Did I mess up the sound? I hope not. It won't turn off now. Okay, so far so good. Yes, there's a yarn store I haven't been to yet. So I'm going to talk about that for a minute, and I'll come back and look at the chat for more questions. But let me talk about yarn store stuff. So in Abilene, there is a Michael's, a Joann's. Of course, we know that's not going to be anymore, and a Hobby Lobby. And then there used to be, several years ago when I started knitting, there was a yarn store. And a friend of mine actually kind of met her through the yarn store, but not really. But a friend of mine who started coming over and knitting with me was working at the yarn store, and so I would go there and we would do just what's new. I'd go through and see what was new at the store, and then we would sit and we would knit for a little bit and talk and visit, and then she and I would go to the bookstore and get coffee and stuff like that and visit. And they had lessons and things, and the lady that owned the store was a foster mom, so she had fosters, and they did homeschool and stuff like that. So she was part of that homeschool network there in Abilene, and then she closed the yarn store and went out on her own, was dyeing yarn. I have some of her yarn, and was selling online, and I bought her yarn actually that she dyed online. And then I found out that she had a spot somewhere in Abilene where that was like a maker's mercantile or something place. Oh my goodness. It was a baby, that was a fawn. It was a baby deer, and there was a guy in a truck parked on the other side of the road going that direction, and he was looking at that fawn. My goodness. I didn't see any mamas or daddies around anywhere, thankfully. Wonder if he's going to pick that fawn up and take it somewhere. I don't know. Just a baby, like a just born baby. My goodness. I've never seen a fawn out here anywhere. I only see deer. That was wild. Good morning to those coming in. I cannot really look at the chat because I'm driving. Okay, back to the yarn store. So the lady who had the yarn store and was dyeing yarn, she was doing shows. As far as I know, she still is. So she was going to like the Dallas Fort Worth Fiber Festival. She was going to other doing trunk shows. So going to different yard stores around the North Texas area, especially, possibly into like a couple of nearby states, and doing trunk shows and that kind of thing. But she had this booth in Abilene, and I had not been to her booth. She had some odd hours, and I was not able to go. I was really kind of unsure about that anyway, because it wasn't really a store per se. You know what I'm saying? You had to kind of meet up with her and make arrangements, and it wasn't convenient. That's why I bought her yarn offline. So anyway, I thought that this store might be her reopening a store, because there was some talk of these people possibly being involved with the homeschool. So I'm trying to get the skinny on it today and see if I can find out that stuff. Good morning, Lonka Woman, Divergent. Good morning, Hope. Good morning. Hello to you all that are coming in and watching. I'm so glad you're here, keeping me company. Watching traffic, y'all. Going through several little towns. I know my reception right in here could be a little iffy. But double check my speed. All right. All of the wheat fields are growing. Everything's getting about this tall in the wheat fields. Lots of wheat fields out here. I can't flip you around. You won't really be able to see anything, and there's nothing out here anyway to see. So. It's about 70 miles from my town to Abilene. I live in Knox City, Texas. We're in West Texas, but we're sort of like west of North Texas, northwest, halfway between Wichita Falls and Abilene. And so it takes me, I always give myself about an hour and a half to get there, but it really just takes about 75 minutes, give or take, depending on the traffic. So Victoria's talking about getting ready for a trade show or craft fair or something like that. I did that for a while. I was not successful. You know, it was kind of a weird thing. I actually had a booth in a consignment area, and I had everything that I made, crochet, knit. I was also doing essential oils at that time, and I was making my own little bottles of essential oil, and I had my own label on them, and I was selling the essential oils, and I don't even know what size of the booth would be. I would say maybe like a 6-foot booth, something like that, but it had 3 sides, so like a 6-foot square, which is not bad. And I had things hung all over those walls, and I had guy was going kind of slow. I was just checking him out. I had like step ladders and just all kinds of stuff, baskets and table, low table, high table, different stuff in there that I had all my stuff on. If you go to my Facebook group, you will see the videos in there somewhere of my booth. I believe there are videos in there. But yeah, that was not very successful. This area, people don't want to pay for anything. I tried trading posts online on Facebook. I tried putting things on my Facebook page, which is now gone. I took all that out. I no longer have what I would call a business. So my Facebook page was a business page, and it and my Instagram were connected. And I was having issues with people. I was having people issues. And I just decided to not be public like that anymore. So I just took both of those down. So I just have the Facebook group, which has a chat associated with it, and my YouTube channel. And I also have a Ko-fi, K-O-F-I. I have a Ko-fi account where you can go and buy me a coffee, and that's also where my patterns are. You can buy my patterns there, but I don't do trade shows or any of that. For a little while, I had been considering doing farmers markets. I'm still wondering about that. It just depends on if something comes up. But then I started, we moved my dad here, so I'm helping take care of my dad, especially when there's no home health. If home health is not there, then I'm there, So I really can't commit to stuff like that. I just can't. It's not something I can do. Dad's doing really well. It's just, his only issue is that he has some problems with his kidneys, his diabetes. We're trying to get his diabetes under control, and So he is now on Ozempic, and that is helping to control his diabetes. We'll see what his A1C does. If we can get his A1C down, it should help his kidney function. That's what we're working on now. Everything else is looking really good. He has a very bad back. He has, just like me, he has a very bad knees and hips and, you know, falling apart kind of stuff. Hey, Tank. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. You can keep an eye on everybody for me because I don't have, I set this up on the road, on the fly. Set it up on the fly. All right, y'all, shoot me a question. Allergies are bad. Oof. This area where I'm at, they do mostly wheat and cotton. They used to do peanuts, and I talked to one of the peanut farmers, one of the guys that used to be a peanut farmer here, and he said no. He said nobody really. He said there's a few people doing it, but he says it's not really the thing that it used to be, and that he and his brother, who did the peanuts together, they don't do it anymore. And he said they're mostly doing. They have sheep actually. Yeah, we have sheep here. They have a flock of sheep. I don't know what you call a flock. Flock is birds, right? A herd. What do you call a thing of sheep? I can't remember. It's one of the things I'm hoping to have that will help me when it comes time for this back treatment. I'm hoping it will help with the brain fog, get a little more circulation to my spine and a little more flow going, you know, and hopefully help with the brain fog. It is a flock of sheep. Maybe I was right. It just sort of popped out. I didn't really think about it. I know cattle is a herd. That's the other thing they raise here is cattle. So a lot of people plant things that they can use to feed cattle, and they bring in cattle and they feed them out, is what they call it. They feed them out when they get to a certain amount of time, whatever that gain is. So whatever the herd weighs when they sell them or take them back to wherever is, that's what, there's a gain of weight, and they're fed so much by that's what's on the market, right? So like on the farmers listen to what cattle's going for, what wheat's going for, what cotton's going for, that kind of thing. All right, is that tractor going to slow down? Oh, he's doing the roads. No, it's a tractor. Yeah, the fold. Bring them back into the fold, right? Now, back in the early 60s, when I was born, in this area, I'm not from this area, I call myself a mail order bride. Mr. Fiber and I met on the internet. Yeah. And I have a book, though, it's a historical book from this area, which has statistics and things in it. So it tells you some of the things that were going on in this area at that time by the year. And it gives history on families also. So it was written by a lady who was keeping track of genealogy and stuff, and just like people coming in and out of the area just as a historical reference. It's very interesting. And it's also got, what is that? Sounded like my speaker. Am I still sounding okay? It's like a click. Hello, Rebecca. Okay, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm also not sure about the reception. But they used to raise sheep. It was a commodity here in this area. North Texas they raised sheep as a way to make money. And quite a bit of it from what it looked like. I couldn't tell you the actual numbers, but I found that interesting that they used to do corn here. Corn was something that they sold to, well, they also did potatoes. They sold it to the potato chip companies directly from this area. But corn was for feed. And of course, the other thing they do here sometimes to make money is hay. They do sell hay here outside of the state when there's a shortage of other places. They get on that and they gather up the hay. A lot of people do that and sell hay to each other, whatever. Hello, Connie. But it's interesting when you look back at history at what the kind of things that were done, and they no longer are. And it makes you wonder why, I guess, the dynamic in certain families where people leave the area, they go to school, they don't come back to live. They don't take over the farms. They don't take over the businesses or that kind of thing. And, rural areas especially. We have a lot of people in this area that have come from somewhere else and bought land because it was cheaper. And they're working to live. They're doing cotton, doing wheat, doing cattle. Hi, Lainey. How are you today? Did I miss any questions? Somebody coming up behind me pretty quick. Fixing a turn here at the big light. There's a huge pole out here with a light on it. It's out here in the middle of nowhere, but it's a junction between this highway, which is actually a historical highway, and this next one coming up. So this, we're almost halfway. Not quite. And there's a Walmart in this next little town. This halfway point, there's a Walmart. And if I do a pickup, I make an order and do a pickup, I come here, which means I have to travel about 30 minutes in both directions to do the pickup. But they do that. They don't deliver, but they do pick up. Ah, long cool woman said that she lived in the country for a bit and did not really take to it well. It is not for the faint of heart. Let me just say, I could talk to that just a little bit. I would have called myself a city girl. Not like in the city, but not really a country girl. I was not really raised a country girl, although when I was younger, we lived on the outskirts of town. And we had horses and chickens and all of that stuff, so I had some exposure to that kind of a life. But, you know, and I rode the bus to school, to town. So, yeah, that kind of country where you lived on the outside of town, which is kind of what I am now. We are 5 miles from town where I live now. But the area that I live in, like I said, Walmart's 30 miles away. We have a local grocery store. We have gas stations. They all have grocery items and stuff and drinks. And one of the gas stations has a little bit of a short order cook. Like I haven't ordered from them. I don't know. It's typically been a little bit expensive there. And they just started doing it. They did it a long time ago, and then they didn't do it for a while. Now they're doing it again, and that kind of thing. Mostly like, you know, fry cook, that kind of stuff. Anyway, we have one restaurant, in town, a couple of burrito shops, sometimes. The one restaurant is what I would say is consistently open and keeps to their hours. Everybody else comes and goes. They don't keep to their hours. You never know when they're open, and it's very frustrating. So in order to get like a major grocery shopping, I have to go 18 miles, and they have more there than they do in town. We're what I always say, we're at the end of the line. When they bring stuff out, it's at the end of the line, whatever's left on the truck. That's the kind of stuff we get here. We just don't get good groceries. Everything tends to be going out of, you can't believe the stuff that I find on the shelf that is out of date. You get your milk, and then 2 days later it's sour. Yes, that's right. Yeah, when Mr. Fiber and I met, he said, it's a small town. And I'm like, well, isn't there a restaurant we can meet at? Because I came directly to the house. And I said, isn't there a restaurant or something? He goes, it's a small town. He just kept saying, it's a small town. And I'm like, I didn't get it. and it wasn't, there was another restaurant. But it wasn't that he didn't want to do that because it was a small town for whatever reason. It was because everybody knows everybody, and he don't want everybody to know his business. I get that now. He didn't want, his family was always, that some of his family lives here too. He didn't want them to know what he was doing either. His mother lived here. He sure didn't want his mother to know what he was doing. Back in the day, okay, Vixen hit the next highway. I'm trying to remember what this highway. If anybody's wondering what highway, I'm fixing to hit 277 going in Abilene. I was on 6. Away we go. Woohoo! I use a deal that I crocheted for my seatbelt. It's a seatbelt cover because I have the seatbelts cut into you, and I have one on the other side for when I'm a passenger. Mr. Fiber takes that and he shoves it all the way down here because he hates that thing being in his way. But I have to have it. It drives me nuts having that strap right there. It also helps to keep it down where it doesn't feel like it's choking me. But when I was talking about it's not for the faint of heart to live in the country, is because you're so far away from everything. And it takes a lot of adjustment. I was very used to Walmart being just down the road. I was used to, I could run to the store in the middle of the night and go get something. The kids were sick or, whatever. And it's not easy. We have a hospital, but don't get me started on that. It's hit or miss at our hospital with the care. When my dad was in the hospital before he had an exacerbation of his COPD, and he had kidney stones. They took very good care of him. The emergency care has always been pretty good. But if you need a routine test, or you need this, or you need that, I had a doctor here, and he died. He got cancer, and he died, and that's why I now go to Abilene. I had him broke in, y'all. I mean, I had a good relationship going with him. He was a DO, not a DO, whatever you call it. He is a chiropractor and PA, physician's assistant, and he was good. And I'm still sad about his passing. Hello, Donna. Good morning. Good morning. It was a primary. My primary was a PA and a chiropractor, so I could get adjustments and I could get testing done, and he was on top of everything. He listened to me, spent time. We could do both at the same appointment. It was wonderful. He was just a really nice person, too. Really nice person. His wife knit and crocheted. I was always going to make him something, but she did, so I left it alone. So now I have a nurse practitioner in Abilene, and she has been really good. She's done a great job. I have to push a little bit sometimes just because she gets really busy. You know how doctors get busy and then you're like, okay, did you hear what I said? So I still have to push a little bit, but she's always there if I need her. I can do a telephone call. If I need something done, she sends me over there. And the girl that works at the front desk is phenomenal. I don't know how she does everything she does in a day, but she is awesome. So I'm very lucky now to have all of that. Yeah, I like PA, to be honest, I do. And I really like the nurse practitioner. There are times when I feel like they know more or that they are more aware of more things than what the doctors are. Doctors tend to be not focused on us little people sometimes. That makes sense. Watching traffic, y'all. I'll be with you in a moment. I've got one coming up on my butt and another one passing me. All right. You're going to pass too? Okay. Come on. Get out around me. I have to get gas today. Got 144 miles, which is plenty to get there and to be guessing on the way back. Forgot to ice this morning. I don't know if he's going to ice me before he does the traction. Okay, I missed what you said, Take. Seeing the PA because your doc is semi-retired. She's the one that sent off for all the tests. See, sometimes that's another thing that they have a fresher eye, I feel like. PAs are always taking more hours of education and stuff like that, so I feel like they have a better hold on some of the stuff the doctors are not seeing because they're only doing, if they're not actively looking for things to educate themselves. You know, they're like buried in their practice, and they're not looking outside of the practice for stuff that, you know, new techniques or new medicines or new this or new that. You know, just a new way of doing things, or stepping back and looking at things differently. I feel like PAs and NPs do that more than the doctors do. Yeah, and on the tech, yes, they're more up to date on tech, that kind of thing. Absolutely. I'm actually kind of early. My appointment is not till 11, but I'm going to go ahead and go, even if I'm a few minutes early. Cerberus was not happy. "You're going again?" Gave you that look as I'm going out the door. He's not very happy with me. He hasn't gotten to get in the car for a while. I told Mr. Piper I'm going to have to put him in the car and just go drive somewhere so he can get out of the house. Well, he just get out of the house. He hadn't been anywhere in a while. Usually I take him with me if I go to the post office because he loves to do that. Oh. Well, there is that too. He wants to protect me. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Putting his pit face on. And he does not like to be alone. He has a thing about being by himself. And I feel bad because, you know, these appointments are like 3 times a week now. And Mr. Fiber is working every day. So there's a lot of time by himself, and he don't like that. A doggy what? No, he sits, when he drives with me, he sits in the way back, behind the back seats. And I have there's a mat back there so I can vacuum it out. And there's a gate at the back of the seats. It's, Mr. Fiber got it because he works at the auto parts store. And you twist and adjust it up and down so that it stays put, and it puts this like open gate back there. So when we got this car is when we got the gate and the mats. They're like a plastic mat. I've got a mat on the front side and on the other side, and then a mat back there for him. And I have a vacuum back there and there's a plug, like a lighter plug. Plug it in back there, and I vacuum up, and then I can get all the hair up before I put trees in. And then you can pull it out and just hose it off. They're really nice. I'm trying to remember to set the arm that I have you guys on that it hooks to my windshield is by the same company. Now I can't remember the name of them. WeatherTech, maybe? maybe. Oh, there goes the UPS guy. Wonder if he's got something for me in my town. He's headed that way. Oh, there's another one. Nope, hard to know. I'm in town again. Really the last town before I get into Abilene. This is Anson, Texas. If you're interested in the woo-woo stuff, you could look up the Anson lights. Supposedly, and I knew about this when my daughter Carrie was living with us, but she said there was a tale that had been going on for years and years out at the cemetery in Anson, Texas, that there was a ghost. We haven't talked about woo-woo stuff on my channel. I didn't know if anybody was even interested in that stuff. But I think the tale is that there is a woman in a nightgown with a lamp, a light carrying a lamp, and she shows up out at the cemetery. You park in a certain direction, and then you turn all your lights off, and she shows up out there. That's the tale. Anson lights. Now, I may have remembered that wrong because it's been a while. My daughter graduated in 2010, so it's been a while since I've heard the tale, but y'all could look it up. Of course, every town has an all subs. That's a Texas thing. And a lot of them have a Sonic. Not all of them. We don't. A lot of people come to Anson to get vehicles. There's a Buick dealership here. Ooh, that was a Hummer. I haven't seen a Hummer in a long time. There goes a house. Somebody's house going that way. Okay, y'all. Go on now. Everybody go. I worked for a few minutes this morning on my rectangle blanket that I showed y'all yesterday. If you missed that, I'm making a rectangle blanket out of granny squares from the Granny Square card deck. And as Tank says, I'm reconstructing it. Go, man, go. Get back up to speed. It's 75 out here. I can't drive 65. That's an 80s song. Anxiety, separate. Yeah, I'd say Duke gets a little bit of that. Not Duke. Serbs. Duke doesn't. Duke is just Duke. Oh, he is hilarious. Duke does not. So Duke is our outside dog, and he is mostly Great Pyrenees, but he's also something called Akbash. There's one to look up. It's a Turkish water dog. And he certainly shrugs the water off. It just falls off of his coat. And this doesn't show a lot of emotion. That's a Great Pyrenees. When he does, it's hilarious. It's almost like that kind of thing. Like he's throwing it out. It's funny. Yesterday, Serbs, when you say, "Are you ready to eat?" You're fixing his food up on the counter. I put warm water in it. Used to be milk, but I put warm water in it now, and I put all their medications in there. So their arthritis medicines and all that, fish oil, yada yada. They eat better than I do. Anyway, are you ready? Serbs is like, yes. Duke just does not. He just doesn't say much. He barks outside, but he doesn't really talk to us much, right? He goes, just like a low grumble. And I look over, and he's sitting on his back haunches. He's got his head in the air, and he's got his like hair lip thing going. It's hilarious. Oh, he's funny. Oh, it's 80 up there? Wow. I don't think I've ever been anywhere it was 80 miles per hour. Fort Stockton. Yes, he is an old man. Yes, he is. We think Duke is actually older than we originally thought when we got him. Both of our dogs are rescues. And we now think that he's older. And his back legs don't work, but he does not cry out and get upset. He doesn't whine. He doesn't get upset when you touch them. You know, he doesn't show any, like, discomfort other than they don't work right. They just don't work right. And so sometimes he just doesn't want to get up because that means his legs aren't going to work when he gets up. So he just doesn't want to do it. And when he stays inside, when it gets really hot, because of that, all that hair that he's got, he comes in. His tolerance has gotten less. So now he's down to like over 80 degrees. Y'all come in. He knows air conditioners are going to be on. If it's over 80 degrees outside, we're turning on the air. That's where he wants to be, inside with the air. I'll make him get up after a couple of hours and move around. Yeah, I think there were a couple of states that had no speed limit, right? Montana, I think that maybe Wyoming, because there was like nothing out there. I don't know if that's the reason, but give in. It's true. Ooh. Oh, there's got a car on a trailer. Hey. I couldn't get over, so I was slowing down. But Duke comes in when it gets hot. He is not, I don't know if anybody's ever seen the pictures of Michael from Crochet Crowd. If you've ever seen the pictures of his dogs, he has Great Pyrenees dogs. And he took a picture one day of his Great Pyrenees outside in the snow. And he's like, he doesn't want to come in. That's Duke. Duke is like that. And my Duke looks like them. Not as fluffy. Mikey's, they're a little more stocky and fluffy like true Great Pyrenees, whereas Duke is a mix and his is not as fluffy. But he'll lay out there in the snow. He loves it when it's snow and then there's sun out. He's like, oh yeah. But he doesn't like the wind. When the wind is blowing, there's these noises outside that he doesn't know what they are. There's a flap of tin, or there's a gate, chain on a gate, or there's a tree creaking, or there's something, and he's like, I don't know what that is, and I'm tired of listening to it, and I'm tired of the wind blowing, and he wants to come in. I was reading yesterday, weather-wise, across the country, this has been the worst year this year has been the worst spring for wind ever. I don't doubt that. Water. We're almost to what we call Trash Hill. Yep, I see Trash Hill from here. The Reclamation Center. All of the trash for this area, for this region, comes to Abilene. Our town and surrounding towns in Abilene and Anson, and all of the trash comes here, just outside of Abilene. And they're big mountains of trash. We call it Trash Hill. You had snow yesterday? Goodness. I knew that was going to happen in some places. Michael over at Amarillo, which is the Panhandle, and he's 4 hours. Michael's 4 hours from me. They got snow over the weekend. 4 hours from me. Dallas is also 4 hours, but it's straight up, whereas Michael's more west, farther into the Panhandle. But Dallas is directly north of me, 4 hours. Austin is 6 hours south of me. That's the capital of Texas. And I haven't spent a lot of time in East Texas. I don't know a lot about East Texas.
I'm on the edge.
Supposedly it's greener. Or forest areas, maybe. Whereas West Texas is wide open in the Panhandle, the east side is more foresty, more trees, more green. They're doing road work right here going into Abilene, so the speed limit goes down to 60. So we're going to slow it down. And I don't know what they're doing, but it's right outside of Trash Hill, the Reclamation Center, and they're working on the roads on both sides of the highway, the access roads. So don't know if they're planning something out here or if it's so that the traffic, because they have a lot of traffic coming in and out of the Reclamation Center. So maybe it's the city of Abilene that's doing it. I don't know. They're putting up a wall between the two sides. They've put a wall up. See, that truck just pulled out. It's a water truck, it looks like. We're going directly in. There's a split here coming into Abilene, and part of the way, if you go to the medical center, it's that direction, but straight ahead is the main part of Abilene where I'm going. Okay, guys, I'm getting into Abilene where I'm going to have to pay a little bit more attention also to the road than I am at this point, it's an open road. So I'm going to let y'all go. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Keeping me company. Have a good day. All right? Y'all take care, and I will see you as soon as I can for whatever we get into. No telling. There's no telling whether it's going to be coloring or diamond painting. I worked on my diamond painting. I can't wait to show you, Tank, the sunflower one. I finished another corner of it, so I will show y'all that. I love y'all. See you later. Have fun today. Bye, everybody.